from the pocket. Flush to his right with 6. 5. Going to loop it downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia. 5. Going to loop it downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. 5. Going to loop it downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. 5. Going to loop it downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. From the pocket. Flush to his right with 6. 5. Going to loop it downfield. And ball is caught. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. With 1 second to go in the ball game, Christian Leary hauls it in. Field. 5. From the pocket, flush to his right with 6. 5, gonna loop it downfield, and ball is caught! Touchdown, Georgia Tech! To his right with 6. 5, gonna loop it downfield, and ball is caught! Touchdown, Georgia Tech! Loop it downfield, and ball is caught! Touchdown, Georgia Tech! And ball is caught! Touchdown, Georgia Tech! Here's Cheney, just straight ahead, tackled and the ball popped out. Tackled and the ball popped out. Tackled and the ball popped out.
You gotta read the clock. Read the card. To me,
Georgia Tech has it with.
Read the card. To me,
Georgia Tech has it with. Georgia Tech has it with 26 seconds left.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Imagine getting yourself handed to you. Getting yourself handed to you in a rented stadium by Georgia Tech because you couldn't take a knee. You couldn't take a knee. Oh, God almighty. Oh, if you listen, nobody was more shocked than Georgia Tech was. Just see the look on that guy's face. He recovered the fumble. He was like, "Hey, what is this? I think it's a football." Oh my God, Miami! What are y'all doing, man? What, Mario Cristobal? Look at our recruiting rankings. Yeah, I bet you they don't look the same after this, though. Oh my Lord! Every coach in the country that is recruiting against Miami is going to show that on loop forever. As long as Mario quits the ball. He can't quit the ball. Mario quits the ball. Mario can't quit the ball. Canes takes the knee. Can't gets the win. Canes play in their own stadium. Oh my Lord. All right, well, if you need something to point and laugh at, that is it. That is it right there. Oh my goodness. I needed that this morning. Man, I needed that. Well, let's go ahead and get a roll call. Appreciate everybody who jumped on this morning. What a great day of college football we had yesterday. Orange, I think that's how you say your name, sir, or ma'am, or yeah. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. So Orange, that's supposed to be orange. I'm not sure. Okay. Welcome back, Jay Shipes. How was your 3-hour tour? Colby, what's going on, my man? Isify, thanks so much for being here. AJT Comics brand, one of our regulars. Thank you for being here, sir. We've also got Millwood. Thank you so much for being here. Texas Rock. Sorry about your loss, sir. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. There was somebody else I saw in here. Yeah, Jason Ray. How you doing, sir? Appreciate you being here. CE, thank you so much for tuning in. Says USC is an insult to college football. Can we please move them out of the top 10? I concur, sir. That was a horrible performance. So first and foremost, really appreciate all you guys being on here. My shirt apparently matches somehow the yellow in my shirt is matching the green in the green screen. So I don't know why that's going on, but that's going on. So yeah. What's up, Brad Pitt? Man, what a great game last night. A lot of great games last night, to be honest with you. Texas rocks. I got to tell you, sir, that game was absolutely a barn burner. It was edge of your seat. You didn't have to be a Texas fan or an Oklahoma fan to enjoy that game. You could watch that game start to finish. That is an instant classic. The crowd was into it. The players were into it. Everybody watched that game was into it. I'm not a fan of either team. I got nothing for or against either team. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, that was a great game to watch. All those guys played well. I feel like everybody played well. And this, by the way, this is such a different Oklahoma team than what we've seen in years past. Man, they played lights out. So I want to give a shout out to that game as the first game that we talk about because wow, what a game that was. Quinn Ewers comes out playing like his head is on fire and his what is catching. I think that guy threw for some insane number of catches. By the way, he threw 2 interceptions, right? And he still went 37 31 for 37. That is a jaw-dropping 84% completion rating. My Lord. Insane. Dylan Gabriel had a really good game as well. He was around like 65, 66%, but he threw no interceptions. The difference here was, I really got to say, it came down kind of to just the final possession and making that last little bit count. The Red River Rivalry Showdown. You know what, Orange? That's cool. That's cool, man. What's up? I like that. Now that I know it's Orange, I'm gonna call you Baby Orange for your baby niece there. How about that? But that Texas game, man, that was a great game. I mean, going into the half, it was 2017. Then it went up 20. I mean, it was just back and forth all night long. Texas slowed down a little bit in the third quarter and then bounced back into fourth, but it just wasn't quite enough. It was such a good game. Both of these teams were playing out of their minds. At least I feel like they were. You look, I mean, Quentin Ewers had 346 yards in passing. And like I said, averaging, 84%. I mean, you can't ask more for a guy than that. Absolutely unbelievable. I was stunned. I was just stunned. The whole game, I just sat there with my mouth open. Oh, wow. Impressive. Both teams, I feel like, played really good all night long. It was surprising that Oklahoma, in a way, it was surprising to me that Oklahoma got away with the win, considering that Texas was getting to the quarterback. They sacked him 5 times. I really felt like that should have been that final Oklahoma drive was intense. But man, what a great game! Hats off to both of those teams. Probably one of the best regular season college football games I've probably seen in 10 years. Man, that was a great game. Michigan over Minnesota, 52 to 10. It's kind of what we expected. A big win from Michigan. Michigan's looking good this year. They advanced to 6-0. Not many teams are 6-0 at this point in the season. Even the 2 other teams that people want to say are really good, which is Ohio State and Florida State. Both of those guys are still just 5-0. USC is 6-0, but man, they just barely escaped. I think it was like double or triple overtime. Caleb Williams gets a 2-point conversion in triple overtime to win that game. But wow, what a disappointment that game was. If you're a USC fan, penalties in the red zone did hurt you guys. No defense, really, from USC. That game, if you're a USC fan, man, you ought to be embarrassed. Don't come at me with this. We scored 43 points because you guys only scored 28 in regulation, which, if you played any kind of defense, would have been enough to put away Arizona. Arizona is not good. They're 1-2 in conference, and that one win is against USC. It's terrible. It's terrible. But, I don't know what's more embarrassing, the USC win or the Notre Dame loss, because at least Louisville was ranked, right? Louisville is 6-0, so they're going to jump up in the rankings. I'll tell you another one that was a really good game to watch was the Texas A&M Alabama game. Texas A&M could have won this game, should have won this game. That safety there at the end really hurt those guys. But Texas A&M certainly had an opportunity to win this game. Shoulda, coulda, and woulda, but didn't. Cry about it in your Kool-Aid, Texas A&M Aggie fans. Y'all should have won this game. This is a year Alabama is down. They are down. Alabama fans will tell you they're down. And what's up, let's go. Listen, there is absolutely no reason why Texas A&M shouldn't have won this game. Jalen Milroe probably played one of the best games of his career here, in my opinion. He throws for about 65%, throws 3 touchdown passes, 321 yards, average 10 yards, on average 10 yards a throw. But I'll tell you what stunned me, what really stunned me, Alabama had a total of 23 yards rushing in the whole game. 23 yards rushing. What happened? What happened, Alabama? Jace McClellan, who's supposed to be their all-star, he rushed for 45 yards on 12 carries. He averaged 3.8 yards a carry. Texas A&M shut that down. But then Texas A&M couldn't run the ball either. They only averaged 1.9 yards a carry, 67 yards the whole game. If either one of these teams could have run the ball better, they would have put the other team away, no problem. No problem. But neither one of them could run the ball. Maybe Alabama's run defense is elite. Maybe Texas A&M's run defense is elite. But I got to tell you, Jalen Milroe back there running for his life. Max Johnson back there running for his life. There was a combined 11 sacks in this game between two teams. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. You're right, sir. They had negative 11 at the half. My goodness. What are y'all doing? What in the world are y'all doing out there? I couldn't believe it. I watched all the sacks going on. I was like, my God. The impressive part is that Jalen Milroe, by the way, guys, you got to give Jalen Milroe some credit. I know we like to rag on Jalen Milroe and talk about what a terrible quarterback he is. I dare any quarterback in the country to throw for 65% or better, have 320 yards in passing against a pretty good SEC opponent, not elite, but pretty good, average 10 yards, only throw 1 interception, get 3 touchdown passes, by the way, and get sacked 5 times. Do you know how hard that is to do? That's insane. That is insane. That kid played out of his mind. I don't know who Ray Davis is. I've never heard of her. I haven't seen her either. Man, I got a beard hair, nose, mustache hair. It's tickling my nose here. Driving me nuts. Driving me crazy. Okay. But, congratulations to Alabama for getting that win on the road. Super hostile environment. But, man, they not what you expect out of an Alabama team. Jermaine Burton walked away with almost 200 yards in that game. So, I mean, that he pretty much carried that team. Him and Jalen Milroe carried that team. Really did. So, it took a Georgia player to get the win there, but congratulations, Alabama. Let's jump down and talk about Washington State UCLA. UCLA wins this game. Pretty incredible game if you watched it. Cameron Ward threw for about less than 50%. And then you got Dante Moore who threw for 50%. Washington State's rushing game was 0.6 yards average. UCLA was 3.4 yards carries. Apparently, people have forgot how to run the ball in college football. Washington State fumbled the ball 3 times. UCLA fumbled the ball a time or 2. There was 4 sacks for Washington State, 3 sacks for UCLA. Washington State threw 2 interceptions. UCLA threw 2 interceptions. I mean, it's like, what in the world is going on here? It was probably not what anybody was expecting to watch. Neither one of these teams looked prepared. What's up, JJ? Did I see the LSU in Missouri? Yes, I did. I watched that game off and on. It was on at the same time as Georgia game, so I was checking back and forth. But not Georgia game, Texas game, whatever it was. I remember. I was watching 2 or 3 games at one time. So much football yesterday. What we really saw yesterday was a ton of great college football and a ton of what in the heck is going on. What in the heck is going on? Like, okay, Ole Miss, Arkansas. That was another game. It was what in the world is going on? Ole Miss should have trounced Arkansas 27-20. LSU was losing to Missouri until like the final 4 minutes of the game, and then they scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. It was 14 points in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. This was a game that Missouri let get away from them. They should have won this game. So I think LSU might move up to 20th, and then Missouri might move down to 25. But these teams were really, you watched the game, they were pretty evenly matched, I thought. Missouri threw the ball 47 times. They had 411 yards in passing. So guess what the key to beating LSU is? Throwing the ball. Missouri rushed for 5.5 a carry. By all means, they should have won this game. They could not stop LSU rushing. LSU rushed for 6.5 yards a carry. They were throwing for 17, despite both teams having multiple fumbles. A couple of sacks on either team here. I mean, this was a game that was back and forth. Missouri come out hot, scored 15 points in the first quarter, was getting after it, and then they kind of tapered off, and then LSU ramped up. So Mizzou scored 15, then 10, then 7, and then 7. So they started hot and went kind of cooled off. And then LSU kind of got punched in the mouth, and then they got the feet on them. They went 7, 10, 10, and 22. So what you're really looking at here was that late game performance by LSU was the determining factor. You got to play all 4 quarters in college football, guys. It's just the way it is. Who else do we want to talk about here? Get that out of the way. That Notre Dame Louisville game. Good Lord, Notre Dame, what are you doing? Watching that game early. Louisville was putting it on them, and then it went into the half tied, and then it come out. Louisville started hot again, and then just stayed with it. They just stayed with it. Louisville held Notre Dame to 1.6 yards rushing per carry average. Notre Dame only got 44 yards on the ground. Louisville had 185. Man. And that was a game. Notre Dame couldn't move the ball, couldn't run the ball. USC versus Arizona. Man, USC, y'all ought to be embarrassed. That ain't quite as bad. That ain't quite as bad as the Miami game, but it's close. And it's close. USC comes out, throws for a little over 50%. Arizona comes out, throws for close to 75%. I mean, both teams were pretty evenly matched on rushing per yard. Both teams were pretty evenly matched on receiving per yard. Not a performance that you would have expected against USC, considering how bad Arizona is. They're not terrible, but they shouldn't be playing like this against a top 10 ranked team. They really shouldn't. If USC hadn't come out in the second quarter and put 14 on the board, they'd have lost this game for sure. Just a stagnant performance by USC. 28 points total the whole game. Embarrassing. They should be out of the top 15. They really should. I know they win the game, but man, that's terrible. Maryland gave up versus OSU. They did. They come out looking really good to start with. I'm really surprised at how well Maryland played initially, and then it just kind of faded out, I guess is a good way to say it. They lost. They went into the half tied, and then they came out, and third quarter was close. Going into the fourth quarter, Maryland was only up 3. I mean, Ohio State was only up like 3 points. It was I think it was 17-20 or something. And then in the fourth quarter, just Maryland couldn't do anything. And Ohio State turned it on. The score is deceptive here, but I'm just telling you, Ohio State is very vulnerable, very vulnerable. Michigan could have probably scored 60 or better against Minnesota. They just took their foot off the gas in the third quarter. And now what we're all here to talk about. We're all here to talk about the number one team in the country, the undisputed, undeniable, defending, reigning national champs, back-to-back, University of Georgia Bulldogs. What a great game this was. Everybody in college football, even if you're not a Georgia fan, that's okay. Most people that have been watching football have been waiting to see if Georgia could put it all together. Can Georgia put together a dominant performance, all 4 quarters, look good, both offense and defense? And if they do, what kind of team do we have? I don't even know who Paul Heyman is, man. I'll have to look him up later. Maybe he sounds like me. I don't know. So Georgia puts together an absolute clinic. They put together a show that you just could not believe was happening. They played lights out, start to finish, front to back. I mean, here's what I'm going to do for you guys. So if you guys haven't pulled up the box score, I'm going to pull up the box score and I'm going to share it with you guys. Share screen. There it is. There we go. Wrestling personality. I'll have to look him up. So if you look at what you got going on right here, it's pretty easy. Let me make that a little bigger for you guys. It's pretty easy to see, if you can see that, where this game really made a difference. There was a lot of people that were wondering whether or not Georgia was going to be able to stop Ray Davis. Because look what Ray Davis did to Florida. Everybody want to see what Ray Davis did. Ray Davis didn't do that good against Georgia. Georgia tuned it up and shut her down. Absolutely shut it down. He had 3.9 yards of carry. Now you might say, "Oh, that should be enough." Nope. That's nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough. If you're going to beat Georgia, you're going to have to do a heck of a lot better than 55 yards in pass, 55 yards rushing in a game. Ray who? Carson Beck was the best college football quarterback on Saturday. You know, there may be some truth to that statement. Is there a way for me to zoom this in? Maybe. If that looks any better to you guys. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see something. So Dennis Leary throws for an abysmal about 40%. So kind of what I said was going to happen. I really thought that Georgia was going to sell out to stop the run, and they did. And they were going to make Dennis Leary, Devin Leary beat him with his arm, which he couldn't do. And that's kind of what we thought was going to happen. We thought that they were going to struggle through the air, and they did. And there were times whenever he had open receivers, and he just couldn't hit them. He just could not hit them. Carson Beck, on the other hand, throws for like 84% or something insane, 390 yards, you might as well say, 4 touchdowns and 1 INT. Hey, look, this is the best Carson Beck has looked all season. He looked elite. He looked confident. He looked ready. He looked like a leader out there. He looked seasoned. He looked good. And the one time that he looked bad was whenever he threw that interception. And on that interception, I think it was because of a penalty. It was 3rd and a mile. He was really trying to make something happen, and it just didn't work out for him. It really didn't work. And, you know, a lot of us question, how is he going to respond? How is he going to bounce back? And then he goes out there, and the next drive was a couple of handoffs, and then he starts slinging the ball around again. Got right back in it. All right, let's talk about the team leaders for rushing. We had Dejon Edwards averaging 6 yards a carry. Kendall Milton right at 6 yards a carry. Brock Vandergrift took off on 2 runs. He looked good. Cash Jones, that's fine. We're good with him. The guy I want to talk about, though, was in makeup time, was Andrew Paul. I'd never seen this guy play, but, man, he looked really good out there. So I'm excited to see how Andrew Paul does. It was in cleanup time, but, man, he still looked good. Brock Bowers had 1 rush, made it to the line of scrimmage. Savion Clark, not so great. Malachi Muse. Don't let this number deceive you. Malachi Muse had like a 55-yard return that got called back for a block in the back that really wasn't a block in the back, in my opinion. It just wasn't nothing. Receiving yards, they targeted basically these 2 guys. They had a really good little pitch out roll that went to Ray Davis. Ray Davis goes tearing down the field. But Georgia stayed cleaned up on him. One of the very first little kind of screen passes they threw to Ray Davis, our linebacker, picked him up and dump trucked him. Looked great. And then we get over here to Georgia. Guess who? Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers sitting on 545 yards for the season. He passes A.J. Green with his 24th career receiving touchdown. If you've been a Dogs fan for a long time, you know who A.J. Green is. Let's see. Jason Hughes says, so, BDB, who do you think is going to win the West? Probably going to be Alabama. The West as a whole is down. But whoever comes to Atlanta is going to get the brakes beat off of them by the Dogs. That's just a fact. So if you're in the West and you look it up and you're saying, we're going to win the West, just know you got a beating coming. It's a game you don't want to play. As sad as that is, it's a game you don't want to play. It's like crawling out of the bed and be like, man, I got to go fight Andre the Giant. with one hand behind my back, and he's doing cocaine. It's just gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. So anyway, Pierce Sperlin the third, he got in. He got him a nice little catch-a-rooney. I feel like Ra did great in this game. We didn't see as much as Dominic Lovett as I would have liked. There's Andrew Paul's receiving touchdown. I was telling you about that, guys. He looked really good. And the reason I like that was because that when he plowed through the end zone, actually, I think there's a thing right here. Let's see if we can pull this up. Right here.
Me and Bob met.
I got to watch this silly commercial. 15 seconds. We'll come back to that.
I've learned over my life.
But Dylan Bell, they kind of tuned up on him. He didn't get as many yards as we wanted.
Helping our neighbors since 1926.
Lad McConkley only had one reception. And I think
auto care.
He's still some kind of injury nagging him. What happened? Oh, Lord.
Fun fact. People will still be impressed when you surprise them with a treat from McDonald's.
It gives you the option to enlarge it, and you enlarge it, and all it does is
because no one has to know.
All it does
got it
is
for
restart.
Earn free food with the app.
All right, so here we go.
And his first Georgia touchdown.
Brock Bowers. I do want to watch that, but
Bowers is wide open. Touchdown.
It just keeps redoing it. What? Get your code fixed, ESPN.
When you order
Good
a Big
Lord.
Mac in the McDonald's app
Brock Bowers
today,
went off. Just absolutely went off.
you'll
But
earn
what was
points you can
sneaky
redeem
was
for a free Big Mac
Rosemary Jack
in your
Saint with
future.
4 catches, averaging
Future, you said.
25 yards.
Earn free food with the app.
Look at these. All right, here we go.
Andrew goes
Watch
4
top
out
of
of
the screen
6
right
for 39 since coming in for Beck.
Check down him.
Andrew
Bang! He just
to the
plows
pylon.
over that guy.
Touchdown.
Oh, excuse me. Man, just absolutely tattoos that guy.
Jake.
There was nothing that guy could do.
Just a great job. You
Here it
see
is again.
Van de Grip didn't like
I love
anything
how he just
downfield,
runs, puts his
gets it to
shoulder
his
down,
outlet,
not scared of contact, gets in.
and Paul obviously
Great
does
play.
the dirty work
Great
to find
play.
pay dirt as you take a look at the progressive pylon cam, which got mowed over right there on the
Yeah, there was
side as
a
Kirby
lot
Smart
of that
looks
going on. What's up,
Very
225 girl?
happy with
The O-line was doing a great job. Absolutely no doubt about it. Much better performance than in weeks past. Let's go back to this. But Rosemary Jack Saint had an outstanding game. I mean, imagine
When
having a
you order
receiver
Big Mac in the
that gets
McDonald's app
100
today,
yards in receiving, and
you'll
nobody's
earn
really
points
talking
you can
about it.
redeem for a free
Nobody's
Big
really
Mac
saying,
in your future.
wow.
Future, you said.
Did you see Rosemary Jack
Earn
Saint?
free
He had
food
100 yards
with the
last
app.
night. Rosemary
And
Jack
his
Saint
first
had
Georgia
basically had 100
touchdown.
yards last night. Do you realize that if he plays that
Bowers is
way
wide open.
in 10
Touchdown.
games out of the normal 15 that Georgia plays, that's 1,000-yard receiver.
21 yards.
That's 1,000-yard
His
receiver
first
right there.
touchdown reception of the night. And
Currently, he's at 325.
24th of his
But
career.
I'm
He
just
moves
telling
out of
you.
a tie for second. All-time in
All of
Georgia with
last
A.J.
season,
Green, only
on
Terrence
29
Edwards with more.
receptions,
He has
he
the
had
motion guy going out wide,
337.
which bumps this
He is
defender a little
12
wide,
yards
which
away.
allows
He's one
Bowers
catch
to just
away
release vertical right up the seam.
from
This is
catching more
tremendously
yards
done.
this season than he
The
did
middle
last
field
season,
safety
and we're
can't get
only
over
6
quick enough
games in.
because of the play actually
Only
is held
6
for a
games
half
in, guys.
second. And Carson Beck gets the ball out so quickly and gets it
Those
on
ass stuff
Bowers
is
so
big
quickly
already. Yeah, let me get rid of that.
that
dude.
the safety
Here.
can't get
We're
over
just
the
going to
top
close
of
this
the
out entirely. I can just tell you about it. I don't have to show it to you. There we go. Can you guys hear me okay? See you around, buddy. Can you hear me? Thumbs up, something? Hit me in the chat. We'll do the truth. Okay. So let's get back to it. Brock Bowers out there killing it. Nobody in the country has a solution for Brock Bowers. You only think you do. Nobody's looking up and saying, we got a way to contain Brock Bowers. Okay. Contain Brock Bowers, and then who do you want to deal with? Do you want to deal with Dejon Edwards, Kendall Milton, Ra Thomas, Rosemary Jack Saint, or Dominic Lovett, Oscar Delp, Lad McConkey? Who do you want to fight off now? Because when you put 2 guys on Brock Bowers, those are the other guys that are standing around. By the way, Georgia fans, no fumbles this game. None. Paxton is correct. There's only 14 undefeated teams, and that will weed itself out pretty soon. Because we know some of these teams have to play each other. So if we look at the rankings, See, I think Ohio State. Did Ohio State lose a game earlier? No, Ohio State's undefeated and Michigan's undefeated. So we know one of those is taking an L, right? Oregon's undefeated and USC's undefeated. So we know one of those is taking an L, right? And then is Washington State's not undefeated. Yeah, Washington State lost. I mean, if you look at, there's several teams out there that's going to be taking an L somewhere. So that's two teams that's going to cut down for sure. Georgia just got rid of an undefeated team. Missouri and LSU, that got rid of an undefeated team. So yeah, there's still a lot out there. Let's go to standings. Slip on my neck. Funny, now I'm paying for it. What is this? What is this? No. What? Still haven't updated everything yet, or have they? Let me see. Yeah, they've updated it. So you've got currently, I might add, Georgia is the only undefeated team left in the SEC. Nobody cares about Sunbelt. Pac-12 has 3 undefeated teams: USC, the Ducks, and Oregon. So we know at least one of those teams is going to catch an L. Air Force is undefeated? Oh, wow. Okay. There's that. Liberty Flames is undefeated. And then we've got 3 teams in the Big Ten, which is Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. And we know at least one of those teams is going to catch an L because they all play each other. Oklahoma's still undefeated for now and likely will remain so. North Carolina, Florida State, and Louisville are all undefeated, and that's going to change because they've got to play each other. Let's see here. Louisville doesn't play Florida State or what am I looking at here? What is going on? So one of those 3 teams, none of those 3 teams play each other in the Pac-12, which is weird. So Louisville, the Seminoles, and North Carolina don't play each other in the ACC. I don't know why I call it Pac-12. But they don't play each other. I guess different division or something. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, those 3 teams, it's weird that no 3 of them those 3 don't play each other at all. It's weird. They'll end up playing each other in the conference title game, I'm sure. But yeah, that's it. I mean, here we are halfway through the season. We're down to a handful of undefeated teams. Wow. Yeah, Miami lost to Georgia Tech. Yeah. Only 14 undefeated teams. Background noises. Was that the problem? Was it the fan? Maybe it was the fan. I'm not sure. Anyway, so what we're looking at here is Georgia comes out, puts on an absolutely dominant performance against a top 20 ranked team. Nobody else put on that good of a showing. So I don't see any way that you take this away from Georgia. And by the way, Georgia's upcoming schedule is, Georgia's upcoming schedule has potentially 3 or 4 more ranked teams to play against. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Michigan wins, so they're going to stay in second place. But their win is not as good as Georgia. They haven't played anybody either. They played East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, and Minnesota. They haven't even played a ranked team. The 2 ranked teams they'll play will be Penn State and Ohio State, and that's it. Ohio State, that game's going to be a good game, most likely. But the only decent team that they have played is Notre Dame, and they only won that game by 3 points. Now, coming up this week, they play Penn State. That's going to tell us a lot. So we'll see what happens. And it very well may be that Penn State wins and they make a playoff berth. But right now, if I had to pick playoff teams right now, geez, who would I pick? I would probably say, I'd say Georgia for sure. And then you got to figure out between Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. So I'd pick one of those three, maybe two from that conference, because the SEC doesn't look to have anything substantial. Florida State, a lot of people are pointing at Florida State. Florida State, in my opinion, didn't look all that great yesterday. I don't know about Florida State, man. Florida State beat a not good LSU team, and they beat Southern Miss. They only beat Boston College by 2 points. They beat Clemson, which is completely unranked, and Clemson's down this year. We'll know more when they play Duke. Of course, we know Miami's not that good. So, I mean, they don't really have anybody on their schedule. They should go undefeated if they're that good. But they should be putting up bigger numbers than 31 points against Boston College. I'm just saying. Where's their signature win? I mean, you look at Florida State, what's their signature win? LSU? An LSU that nearly lost to Missouri. An LSU that's, I think, already got, 2 losses now? With LSU Tigers. Yeah, they got 2 losses now. So a 2-loss LSU team is your best win. Realistically, probably shoulda, coulda, woulda lost to Missouri. They're probably going to lose to Alabama. They'll probably lose to Texas A&M. I mean, LSU could have 4 L's by the end of this season. So I don't know that bragging on an LSU win is all that helpful. Preseason, Georgia, USC, FSU, and Texas. Texas looked good. I know they lost. They look good. I think Oklahoma is probably a contender. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. I would probably take Georgia, Texas, and or Oklahoma, Michigan, and or Penn State, and Ohio State. I got to see more out of Florida State. I mean, if you want to make arguments for weird stuff, I mean, you could make whatever argument that you are going to make for FSU. You can make the same argument for the Louisville Cardinals. You really could, because they're undefeated. They just beat number 10 ranked Notre Dame. They got to play Pitt next week. Then they got to play number 19 ranked Duke. Then they got to play 17 ranked Miami, and then 20 ranked Kentucky. So, I mean, the argument that you would make for FSU, I feel like if Louisville goes undefeated, they would have a better argument to make. Yeah. I don't know if Oklahoma can beat Texas twice, because playing a team a second time, man, is always tough. It's always tough. Ask Alabama. Ask them. Tough. USC is losing 2 games in the regular season. They should, but who knows what happens. Can Oklahoma beat Texas? Already answered that. If the Dogs play out the season like they did last night, good luck to everyone else. There ain't going to be no luck for anyone else. It's going to be a drubbing. It'll be a killing. But the thing is that we finally got to see that Georgia can play like that. They can put together a full game. That is probably the best played both sides of the ball game in all of college football this season. They were dominant on offense. They were dominant on defense. They didn't make stupid mistakes. They played extremely well. They were explosive. I mean, well, who are they going to play? Here's what I'm saying. As FSU, who are you going to play? Who are you going to play? If you look at FSU, because they don't play FSU and Louisville don't play during the regular season, right? So if you go back and you look at go here, go here, go here. So they play 19 ranked Duke, 17 ranked Miami. They'll end up playing against Louisville. And if Louisville beats them, which Louisville very well could, they're completely out. completely out. Well, UJ knows how to run the victory formation. Miami doesn't. That's because they don't have their own stadium. They weren't playing with home field advantage. Every game for Miami is a road game. Every game. They can't sell out their stadium. They can't beat Georgia Tech. They don't get to play at home. They don't have a home. They have room for one. So let's do this. Let me pull it up for you guys. All right. So this. Hang on, guys. You guys are in for a treat. All right. Here's what I'm going to do for you guys. I'm going to show you a reason why. By the way, nobody has seen Slim Shady Kane. Normally he's around. If you guys see him, check on him. Check on your boy Slim. Hang in there, Slim. It'll be like every other year. You'll be fine. All right, so here we go. Watch this. So here is all of this. All of this is the University of Miami. So you see that? Let's get rid of this. All right. So I'm going to show you. This says University of Miami right here, right? Okay. And what we have over here, guys, is a giant parking lot. So let's measure. Do some measuring here. So measure distance. We'll start here. We'll go to here. That's 800 feet. And let's say that we get rid of the road here, but we'll go right on the edge of it. That's another 300 feet to there. Go right about here. You know, that's another 500 feet. All right, so let's get rid of that. Their measurements. Let's see. Where's it at? Where's the other place? If you wanted to buy some real estate here and actually build yourself a stadium, you can get rid of this golf course. Ooh, that's 1,400 by another 1,000. Ooh, you got plenty of room. Look at there. You could put a whole stadium there. You could put dead blasted near the entire college here. All right, let's get rid of that. Let's see what else can we find. We ain't gonna mess with no church, I'll tell you that. Volleyball courts. Do we need volleyball courts? I don't think so. Outdoor volleyball courts, please. All right, so we're gonna start here. We're gonna do measure distance. We're gonna go to here. Hey, that's 700 by 500 or 600. Probably got another 500 there. All right, so you may be saying to yourself, Steph, I don't think that's enough room. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to University of Florida Stadium. All right, here's Ben Griffin, whatever you want to call it. So we really don't need all this extra stuff. I mean, for goodness sakes, they haven't had their own stadium in forever. Let's see what the actual dimensions are. So let's go measure distance. We're gonna measure first. Oh no, I don't want to report a problem. I'm gonna measure distance from here. Measure distance from there to there. Hey, that's like 600 feet. We go from here to all the way up to there. Hey, that's only 730, guys. Hey, what What in the French toast happened? So you could take a 600 by, we'll say, let's give them a little bit extra. Let's just say 800. A 600 by 800, and you could put in a stadium. So we go all the way down here to University of Fail. You got room here for a stadium. You got room here for a stadium. Yeah, you got places. You got places to put a stadium here, guys. They just don't want to. Has nothing to do with anything other than they don't want to build a stadium. They just don't want to. Because if they wanted to, they could, but they don't. So for that reason, I don't feel sorry for them. You don't need none of this stuff, man. Thank you for that, Sarah, by the way. What's up, Twisted Rooster? I didn't see you there hanging out in the background, sir. Pleasure to have you here. Pleasure to have you here. But yeah, guys, I mean, honestly, it was a great weekend of college football. We learned a lot. We learned a lot. And a lot of that learning came from some of these teams that we thought were really good, like USC, really not that good. Florida State, struggle. Ohio State almost lost that game. Texas, Oklahoma, best game of the season. Let's see, what else did we learn? Oh yeah, Alabama almost lost to Texas A&M, and I mean it was close. That was close. UCLA embarrasses Washington State. Ole Miss almost loses to Arkansas, and Miami doesn't know how to play football. They don't. They don't know how to play football. LSU almost lost their third game of the season to Missouri. I mean, guys, we learned a lot. Listen, Colby, I'm an equal opportunity demolitionist. I don't care who it belongs to. If it was my team and we actually cared about college football, because Miami don't, they have their own stadium instead of playing in a rundown Miami Dolphins stadium. Which, by the way, for those of you who don't know, let me pull this up for you. So if we go to, sorry, my screen. Google Maps. Here we go. So we go Google Maps and we go to hang on one second here. How far is it to the stadium? From the school to the stadium, let's see. It is a 40-minute drive from the stadium to the University of Miami. 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Are you serious right now? 40 minutes? That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, guys, I just wanted to give you the breakdown on that. Georgia looked absolutely dominant. Georgia, no doubt, #1 team in the country. Really appreciate you guys being on here. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and share. You guys are awesome. I look forward to seeing you guys each and every week. Thank you so much for being here. Gives me a reason to get up on Saturdays and Sundays, other than when it comes to football. So, thank you guys. We appreciate you being here. Have a great day. God bless. Go Dogs.